Welcome back to another episode, everybody, of Life in the Fast Lane. It is your lovely CTO, Kyle Parks, here, and I'm sitting with Mr. Nick Carlson. How are we doing today?
Good morning. You are fired up.
No, not really. My brain, after a conversation at lunch today, my brain is inundated with just ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it just takes some time to wind down and then go, okay, this is good, that's stupid, this is good.
It's auditing.
Yeah.
And I just said good morning. It's clearly not morning right now.
No, it's middle of the afternoon for us.
Yeah. It's just I'm so screwed up between my California trip, my Georgia trip. I am just upside down and backwards at the moment.
I did forget you were in Georgia yesterday.
Yeah. It's been crazy. I got some stuff squared away there, which is good. Our lunch was fantastic. I had me a margarita.
Mine was, or today or yesterday?
Today.
Yeah, today was good. I had queso.
You did. It was good.
I didn't really, I don't know. Today, you ever have those days where you wake up and you're just like, it's not that you're not feeling good, you're not there.
Nothing sounds good.
You're there, but you're just not there.
Yeah.
So that's been one of those mornings today. Like, I woke up and I'm like, I felt like I was starting to get sick. But then middle of the day came around and like washed my nose out, rinsed it after doing powder, and I'm like, I'm not too bad. But also at the same time, I could use a good.
Start snorting tequila. Okay. So reason I say that.
I know.
Oh, do you know it?
I know it.
Oh, okay.
But
tell them.
I've been around you for how long?
Tell them why I do that.
Okay. So your shot of tequila, the alcohol kills off the germs.
Yes.
But. I'd rather snort scotch, but that might hurt a lot more.
That would hurt really bad.
Petey.
No, for real. I'll snort tequila.
It's not like a whole shot, though. Like, you have to let them know, like, it's a dip of a pinky. And,
yeah. I get as much as I can liquid on my finger, and I snort it in my sinuses to try to, any kind of like bacteria that's not supposed to be there. I've found that if I do that, and then if I gargle tequila, specifically Cabo, I'll gargle it before I go to bed. I'll do it when I get up in the morning. That it just keeps me from getting sick. When I start seeing everybody around me start getting sick, I just do it. And
here's your daily reminder.
Well, I'll do it today since you feel like you might be off, so I'll do it when I get home.
It's fine. I told my dad that you did that, and he was like, "What the fuck?"
Nobody believes
And I'm like,
me.
No. He doesn't do a shot of it.
No.
I'm telling you, like, he just puts a dab on his finger and sniffs it.
Yeah, I just stick my finger in the end of the bottle.
Yeah.
And I just flip it over and put it back.
It's like an acetone.
Yeah, that's all it is. So, yeah, do that. It might help you feel better.
We'll see.
It can't hurt. I mean, it'll hurt a little bit for a second.
Yeah, tequila and vodka don't make me very happy.
No, I don't.
I get very like, I want to fight something. It might be that tree, or it might be like.
Yeah, no alcohol does that to me.
Yeah, and it's not that like I'm super aggressive. It's just like in my head, the thoughts that are coming out, and then sometimes thoughts and the verbal it just follows. And sometimes it just, you're like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that.
It's the inner fireball, no pun intended.
Yeah, literally.
It could be. Well, with that said, what are we getting into today?
Oh, we're into a new month, baby.
So February what?
That's a good question.
He doesn't actually know.
I have my calendar. Well, I've been marking on the calendar like when and making sure that I'm good so I don't double post.
Oh.
We're on the 5th.
Okay.
Coming up to close to. So this time, real time, I'm on a cruise, suckers.
Nice. And I'll be 38 years old.
Yeah, I know. This was cool. Before we do this, I found this out the other day. Do you know what national holiday is on the 12th of not said month?
No, what? Who? When?
It is National Quitters Day. I'm not even joking. Look it up.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not me.
Yeah.
Clearly not.
I was thinking about it, and I'm like, wait. That's Nick's birthday. God damn it.
Yeah, it's like Howard Stern's birthday, Rush Limbaugh's birthday. I want to say it's like Hitler's birthday, I think, or something.
I don't know you want to flaunt that one.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm flaunting it. I'm just saying facts are facts.
Yeah.
Sorry if they piss you off.
Oh, God. My sister
Don't be so sensitive.
Jackie Chan is my birthday twin.
That's cool.
And Keith Kalfas.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan's cool.
Keith, nice guy, not necessarily my entire cup. He's not the guy I go to for content and pleasure.
Yeah, I'm not even joking.
No shit. That's not me.
I know. I just thought of it, and I was like, totally not relevant, but I'm so bringing it up.
You know whose birthday's before mine on the 11th? Carol Shelby.
There you go.
Yeah. He's the 11th. Anyway.
Chloe's is on the 12th of February, so for the cruise, we're celebrating our anniversary, first year. Valentine's Day, because it's on the 14th, and her birthday on the 12th.
Knock it all out real quick.
Yeah.
Good. Knock it out. Get on with it.
I'll be a happy boy when I come back.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, you hope.
All right, we're back. We're coming back.
All right.
Before I get too far off the rails.
So this episode, this podcast of Life in the Fast Lane is going to be all about KartMate. KartMate Pro, KartMate RS, and
I say let's stick with Pro, and then we'll do another one with RS. That way we kind of because they're the same, but there's a delineation between the two, and we can go over that really quick.
Yeah, we'll probably go over it a little bit. I'm sure there's a lot. So we're going to go through the story, how it came to be, and then what I said earlier before we press the record button is the financial repercussions of said owning this product and the stories we hear.
I still don't know why that made me laugh.
Because it sounds so like authoritative and bad. In reality, a repercussion could be bad. It could be good or bad.
Yeah.
It just depends on what seed you sow, right? Inputs, outputs. It's just the way it goes. So, okay, let's talk about the KartMate Pro. KartMate Pro is an articulating turf cart that mounts to the front of any commercial mower very easily with a 2-inch hitch receiver. It dumps, it articulates over any kind of terrain. It will transport whatever and wherever you want as long as it's, say, under 500 pounds.
Yeah, and I bought one of the first ones. Like I think Sam assembled it, and it was out at the show that we did, or you did, sorry, way back when. Was that 20 or was that 19? That was 20.
I released it in October of 19.
I think I picked it up in 20.
Yeah,
I got one in 20.
Right before COVID, probably.
Yeah.
So
because Aiden was supposed to get the one that I had picked up.
I know.
And then Sam was like, "I'll just build him a new one."
Yeah, we were like building them, assembling them, and shipping them like on real time.
Yeah,
like they would get built, come out of powder, and immediately go into packaging and shipping before the next one was even ready to go.
Yeah,
and back then, so crazy. And you don't know this story. I don't really think I've ever talked about it because it's not that significant, but it's kind of, to me, it's crazy. So I took the very first KartMate Pro frame that I had made. I had TIG welded the whole thing together. It was like beautiful. I did like race car style because I was enjoying myself.
So you were watching your dimes?
Yeah, it was all dimed out. It was beautiful. And the only person that ever picked up on it was Mitchell. Mitchell was the only guy to pick up on it at the trade show. He's like, "Dang, dude, you like TIG welded this whole thing together." I'm like, "Hey, man, thanks. It looks good."
I'm glad you noticed it.
He goes, "Yeah, it looks good." I'm like, "Thanks, man." He's like, "You gonna do that for the production ones?" I was like, "Hell no." Oh, no, that's not going to happen.
We are zapping them together.
Yeah, and we do. So the way all that came to be was we built the Mulch Mate, and we started taking it to shows, and we started selling them, and I got this really annoying comment. And I don't remember the guy's name. I could look it up in my phone, but he worked for Dennison around here. And he walked by us at the Mance trade show, which is now just passed. It's in January in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And this dude, I don't know if his last name was Dennison. I don't know what his deal was. Old, grumpy dude. And he walks by and he's like, "We'll see if you're here next year." And I'm like, "Fuck you." Like, for real, dude. Fuck you. And so I have worn this very large chip on my shoulder to prove people that I wasn't just a one-trick pony and I was smarter than I looked.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a funny statement. But we got done with that show, and the summer of, I think, 19 rolled around, and my whole team's like, "Dude, stay focused on Mulchmate, stay focused on Mulchmate." And I had started to understand with Mulchmate that it was just going to take some time for the market to adapt. The rate of adaption for Mulchmate has been far slower. We were talking about this at lunch.
Yeah.
Far slower than I expected. Now looking back on it, I get it. The type of people in this industry are very copy-paste individuals. They see somebody else do it, and then they just kind of copy it. And what we've noticed is that as more and more Mulchmates have made it out in the field, more and more people are just copying their competition that already have one.
Yeah, well, there's also there's a couple companies, and one of which a buddy of mine a mutual friend of ours used to work for, and they're just very stuck in the if it's not broke, don't fix it realm. So if it's not something that isn't, creating a deficiency to them or that they can see the deficiency in, they're not going to change it. So if they had seen say you did a demo with this company, if you went down and showed them that it works and how well it works, I can guarantee they'll probably buy 5 or 6 units. Now, the thing is how do you get in the door without seeming like kind of cocky with it,
Well, from the data that I have, I don't necessarily think I fully agree with you. Reason being, I did a demo with Jams in Crofton here in Maryland.
Is it
And
jams or jeans?
Jams, Jams.
I could have swore it's jeans.
No, Jams.
Because I know that it's the white trucks, and they got that, like,
Red letters?
yeah, reddish, burgundy-ish kind of color.
Yeah, something like that. So they're local to where I live.
Yeah.
And I went there and did a demo with them, and they're like, ooh, ah. And the owner is the guy in that particular company that's going to make the final decision to buy a piece of equipment like that.
Yeah.
If it's a mower, there's other people. They just kind of go through them. So he was the owner wasn't there. The right hand guy, I can't remember his name. Shoot, really nice guy, older guy, lives right down the street from me. Waves at me like every day.
Yeah.
That he goes by, and somehow or another, it got lost in translation between him and the owner of how great the MulchMate is and how much money it'll save. And by the time the message got to him, it just, the enthusiasm wasn't there, the understanding wasn't fully there, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
This is the same thing for, what's a company down off of College Parkway in Arnold? Childs.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. We show the machine, we ran material through it, and they just don't get it. Because the reality of it is that it all comes back to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And that goes back to, people will only make a move when they have pain, right? Like, people a lot of times won't start trying to lose weight until they're fat.
Yeah. Right?
That's just kind of human nature. Here's the ramification that will come with that mindset. You'll get passed, you'll get smoked, and the newest, latest, greatest thing will come in and wipe you clean out. So the best thing to do is to stay cutting edge and start using things like AI, MulchMates, electric vehicles. That's all coming. And if you continually fight against progress, you will get beat. It's just been proven over and over. So when it came to the KartMate, I had this idea, and I came up with the idea, but I was inspired by one of our very first customers. So he loved his MulchMate. He put it on an F650. He runs like 16 yards, 17 yards per load. He's down in Chesapeake, Virginia, and really, really nice guy. And I actually just texted him the other day. I haven't talked to him in years. He's like, "Hey, man, what's up, old friend?" I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" So he was towing a double-axled poly tow-behind trailer behind his ATV.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Kick ass. How's it working?" He goes, "It's great, but maneuvering it around really sucks. Getting it to the job site really sucks, and it falls over." I'm like, "What do you mean falls over? Like you fall?" And he goes, "Yeah, you get on this crazy terrain that the ATV can handle, the trailer cannot. It then flips over, and then takes the ATV with it."
Yeah.
You know? And so I'm like,
that's the same thing with, like, John Deere tractors or Husqvarna tractors. Nothing saying nothing against the tractor. It's just that that's how those carts are.
It's called physics.
Yeah.
It's just your center of gravity is above the wheels like that, and the wheels are pretty thin typically, and then it flips over and then just takes the tractor with it.
And they're not all that wide either.
They're not.
So, like, if the cart was a little wider, maybe that'll help.
Well, we'll get to that. That is exactly why I designed KartMate Pro the way I did.
Little.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, I don't even know if you realized you just did that. Did you?
No, I did.
Okay, there you go.
I did that on purpose.
Okay, perfect. So
it's funny. It was one of those, as you talk, it happened, and you're like, "Oh wow, brain's working and the mouth." And,
well,
wow.
You know what that is? That's your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So what I believe in is everybody. When I talk, I don't think. I just don't, because it's all coming from my heart. I made a decision when I started this company that I was just going to talk from the heart, be honest with people, try to learn a better way to deliver the message, and they'll pick up on it just organically through their subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And I think, and I'd love to hear your opinion. I mean, it's pretty simple, yes or no, but I feel like that's resonated with our customer base in our industry. Don't you think?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think so. I think that when I speak, I think people see that it's LAL. When I lost all my notes, I was like, "Well, fuck it. Here you go. This is the real Nick. So send it." That's just who I am.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to quit, but we're just going to make it happen.
Well, what am I going to do? Ball up on a little ball and look like an idiot? The reason that it works is because I'm not an idiot, and I do pay attention, and I do care, and I do want to win, and I do the things necessary to try to achieve said thing. So anyway, the KartMate Pro, here's what happened. I heard about this cart on the back of the ATV, and I said, at the same time I'm having this conversation, right around the same time I have a conversation with Ed Wright. Ed Wright tells me all about why his dad came up with the stand-on mower. He's like, "Oh, it's because you can see out front of it. Your body's built to stand. It's not built to sit. All these different things." And so I picked up on the thing he said. you can see the deck. It's easier to see it because it's
Yeah.
like right down in front of you. I'm like, okay, makes sense. I've used them for years. I get it. I'm bought into it. The trailer, you can't see it. So I'm kind of mixing the two worlds, and I'm like, okay, hold the phone. What if I could put the cart in front of the horse? Like, that's so wrong in so many ways. So I'm laying in bed on vacation in Sarasota, Florida, at my aunt's house, and I've got my 2.5-year-old daughter laying next to me in bed. I just put her to sleep, and I'm the kind of dad where I'll lay there with her for hours, sing to her.
Well, I cuddle with Malin all the time.
All the time. And I lay down next to her, and she just, I mean, any good dad, I believe, will give up his free time just to make sure his daughter or his son is comfortable.
Yeah.
And their mind is right and their heart right, and they can breathe a huge sigh of relief knowing they're safe. Whether it's emotionally or physically, they're safe. That's what I try to deliver. I also push my kids hard to be smart, think on their own, that kind of thing, but I want them at night when they sleep to be like fully relaxed.
Yeah.
So I'm laying there in bed, and being as big as I am, I'm in a full-size bed, and she likes to take up at least half of it, and I need at least 3/4 of it. So I'm like laying on my side, and it's dark, and the window behind the bed, it's got like there's a street light out behind it, and she lives in a beautiful community. It's not in the ghetto at all. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, how do I keep a cart in front of a mower? And so I got to thinking, and I'm like, well, what if I put a spring, like a big truck spring that's like collapsed in front of the mower, and that will allow it to twist and go up and down? I'm like, no, that's not going to work. And then I thought about a big chunk of rubber, and I'm like, no, that's not going to work. And then I just got to thinking about, well, what do I know that can go up, down, twist, and rotate all at the exact same time? And the only thing I know of is a Heim joint, which you can find on like the upper link of a rear end in a race car, or like the trailing arms of a monster truck. So I pull one of those up on McMaster-Carr, which if you don't know what it is, just Google it. It's crazy. They have like everything in the world there, and we buy way too much from them. And I'm laying there, I'm like, okay, hold on.
What do you need from McMaster?
Yeah, every day we put an order in with McMaster. So I'm thinking about this Heim joint, and I'm like, okay, that's doing what I want it to do, but I can't let it go left to right.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if I put this like spine and these like paddles? And I built this what is now our knuckle for the KartMate Pro, which is got a utility patent on it now. Yay me. I'm very proud of that. Because I'm sitting in the same room as Einstein in Tesla. Like, to me, that's what I think. Because I am. And it's freaking cool. Not that I'm bragging, but like, that's the facts. It's black and it's white, and it's amazing. And I'm very, very, it's why I work so hard, because I don't want to look like an idiot. So I developed this knuckle. I come back to the shop after like a day or two down in Sarasota, and I'm talking to one of our engineers about it, and he has no clue what I'm talking about. None. So I ended up building one out of cardboard. It took me about 2 hours to make, and we still have it today. And I know you know all this, but I'm explaining to everybody. And that was the birth of the KartMate Pro. And I did all this without our president knowing, or anybody else knowing, except for Sam. So Sam, our head of production, has a CAD modeling certificate, and he can do, SolidWorks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So him and I would come in here.
I didn't know he had that.
Yeah, him and I would come in here at 6 o'clock in the morning for like 2 or 3 months straight. And him and I, without anybody else knowing, they were just like, why are they here early all the time? We're working on something. Don't worry about it. We developed the KartMate Pro and the TruckMate at the exact same time together, and behind everybody's back, we did it, and then we're able to put it together and take it to Kentucky and release it, and that's what everybody saw in some of those videos.
Yeah.
So my point to all this is, okay, let's go over the KartMate and what it truly is and why it's the best in the market. Number one, it is a cart, just like you go to Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart and there's a cart and you push it, right?
Yeah.
Mowers, and I learned this from Ed Wright, and that's why everybody else in the marketplace right now that's putting tubs on the mower is flat wrong. Mowers do not like vertical down pressure. So if you put a tub on the front of a mower, all the weight is coming off the rear wheels, which means less traction, which means you're tearing up lawns. It's then putting all the weight on the front casters, which means they are going to dig in more. They are going to get more traction. And then when you go to try to jump curbs or whatever, your snap-off caster's way faster.
Yeah.
Toro's dealing with it. I've seen Skaggs bend. So these other brands that are copying us, they're causing mowers to prematurely fail.
Well, that and you're rutting yards much more than normal because those front casters are digging deeper.
Yep, absolutely. So
and that and you also have the higher center of gravity.
I was getting to that.
That was really hard to get out.
Higher center of gravity. No, it's correct. So you're taking 200, 300, 400 pounds and you're putting it instead of the KartMate. For me, I'm 6'3". The top of the KartMate, the highest point, is just above my knees. So if you look like a Jackson wheelbarrow, it's shorter than a Jackson wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
All this was purposely designed this way. And the reason I did it wasn't because I wanted it to fit under MulchMate. I took that in consideration, but my point to it all was the lower I make it, the less vertical height you have to lift something up to then get it into the tub.
Yeah.
You
have more power when you're down low versus when you're up high, when you're going to pull.
Correct. Well, think about you and I. You're 5'8",
6,
5'6".
5 foot short is what I say.
5 foot short. Poor
That's
guy.
my joke every day.
Nothing you can do about it. It sucks. And then I'm 6'3". I'm going to be able to lift far higher than you ever will.
Yeah.
It's just physics. Again, it's black and white. So you have companies like Toro, and I'm not going to even give this other company a mention because they're dickwads. They're just copying us. And
how rude.
Well, they're just kids copying what I've done. Congrats, but you don't have a company. You put something together in a barn and you sell it. Cool, good job. Let's see where you are in 5-10 years. So, like, take the Toro Mulch Force. The thing that they have on us is it can dump. I can make ours dump. It's just going to make it more expensive and heavier, and everybody complains about the price as it is.
Plus, it's also another thing to break. Which,
yes,
yeah, it is kind of nice to have that autonomy, which is part of the automating things here at MulchMate. But if you get into that and you're going down the road, okay, well, then you have to plug in hydraulics or you have to plug in another sort of electrical system. All that costs money, like you said, but then it's also another thing that could fail.
Yep. So originally the KartMate, what it was going to be imagine a tub on the front of a mower, and then it was going to have a cross conveyor belt and a chute, and then you just press a button, it was going to shoot out like a quarter of a yard of mulch.
Yeah.
That's what it was going to be. Somebody had already developed it. I tried to buy the patent off of them. They won't release it. They still haven't released a product to this day. I estimate that thing costing about $7,000 MSRP, $7,500. And then it just had all these components to it that were going to make it prone to failing.
Well, that and the other thing, too, is like you only have so much limited access when it comes to having that little bit of mulch. Is $7,000 actually worth it to take what's in that little bucket to put on the ground versus taking a big-ass pitchfork and I did it with a big pitchfork, and I unloaded a full KartMate. It was a little high, but I still did it in 6 to 8 scoops, and they were, granted, they were honking, but, it's not that bad.
Right. So here's how all this worked out. I could have developed what Toro did, but I said, no, I want to keep it as inexpensive, robust, as failure-proof as I could make it, and easy as I could make it.
Well, that and also make it so that the mower doesn't have to have extra strain on it.
Correct.
So you're not blowing your mowers up.
So let's just go one-to-one with the Mulch Force, right? KartMate Pro, Mulch Force. Mulch Force is going to cost you bare minimum $3,500.
Yeah.
And you have to have a multi-force.
Yeah.
No other
You
mower.
can't have anything else.
Can't have anything else. The KartMate Pro can fit the multi-force and any other commercial mower on the planet.
Yeah, just cost. We have the hitches.
Just period. It's just in a story. The second biggest one is I'm sorry. We talked about the fitting of it. The Mulch Force is $3,500 bare minimum plus the pumps and things. I know it's $3,500 plus.
Yeah.
The KartMate Pro is $1,999. So you're already 2/3 of the cost.
And then you get the extended walls if you want a higher capacity.
I was going there. Definitely going there. So the Mulch Force is a steel construction.
Yeah.
So when you're in there digging around with pitchforks and shovels and all that, you're banging it, you're scratching it, you're denting it, you are beating it up. Ours is a recycled plastic poly. It's a compression rotomold.
Yeah.
So it's super robust. I've smashed them with skid steers. The only time we've ever had one fail that I know of is in shipping when a forklift has penetrated the tub with a fork. It's the only time I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you how strong they are.
That if you're putting a gorilla behind it with a wheelbarrow and you just,
We tried to break it in that one video series, and we didn't break it.
No,
We
I
haven't-
thought what was something had a puncture in it though, or was no, it was the RS.
It was
'cause
the
the
RS.
had a smaller tire. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
The RS is a whole nother deal. We'll get into that. Maybe
we
this
scratched it up a
podcast.
little bit, but
We did. We tried to.
yeah.
We're not sure if we're going to get into the RS in this podcast, but we'll definitely get into it in another one. But here's the thing with the KartMate Pro is it starts off at 10 cubic feet. The mulch force is like 10.6.
Yeah.
It has a little door, and if you go on their website, on Toro's website, it says for conveying filling systems, which means MulchMate. Okay. That door is another failure point. It's another place to hook your pitchfork or your shovel so you can't smoothly get to it.
Well, then it's also so much higher. It's like if I were to try to shovel something in there, I would more than likely after
Need shovel
maybe 15 minutes of doing that, I'm going to hit the shovel on it.
Well, that and you're going to need shoulder surgery after a year or two using that
Yeah.
thing. Really, for real. It's so high. So, okay, we're going to get into that. So the tub is probably 2 foot higher.
Yeah.
It's way up there.
Is it?
It's probably.
Oh, I'm thinking of with the door down in the front because the door allows.
Doors, yeah.
That's part of their access.
It's BS. It's just a patch on something stupid. And we didn't get into so the KartMate, instead of it sitting doing vertical down pressure, you're basically pushing it like that cart I was talking about at Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart or whatever.
Yeah.
Think about this. How easy is it to push a cart around?
With like 100 pounds in it versus if you had it on you.
Sure. Now, imagine putting 500 pounds in that cart, that vertical down pressure. How much worse does that get? It's
moderate.
It's pretty miserable when you put that much weight like on a mulch force. You're not only – so think of it like a seesaw.
Yeah.
Right? So you put all that weight on the front casters. They're going to be digging in like crazy, and then you're just going to take and seesaw the weight off of the rear tires, and then you're not going to have any grip. So you're double whammying the problem. When you go to a KartMate Pro, what it's doing is it's bridging out the gap. My sales team calls it a chassis extension.
Pretty much.
It is. It's a bridge of sorts. So all you're doing, instead of carrying the weight on the mower, all you're doing is pushing it. Because here's what happens. The power you're using to control the blades, well, in this circumstance, you're not cutting grass. So the power consumption from the blades that you're not using, you're just putting towards pushing that cart. It's just a power machine is all it is.
Yeah.
It's got a power plant, and you use it for different things. So that's why it works. Now, putting a KartMate Pro on like a standard B is nowhere near as good as it putting it on like a Wright ZK.
Yeah.
It's just not. Like
I can attest to that.
Yeah, it's just not. It's like, okay, go tow my race car trailer with an F-150 versus your truck. Your truck's going to tow it far better.
Yeah.
They both can do it. It's just one, you can't load that trailer fully like we do going to Kentucky, right, with 10,000, 15,000 pounds worth of shit. Whereas with an F-150, it would never do it. It may do it, but it's going to scream and complain the entire way.
Yeah.
So, okay, you had mentioned the capacity. This is another thing that no one can touch us with. The true capacity limitations of a KartMate isn't the KartMate, it's the mower. If you want to know the truth, the capacity, the lightest, weakest chain of the chain, the weakest link, is the tires. The tires have a rating of 495 pounds per tire. So call 500 pounds. That unit should be able to hold 1,000 pounds all day long. I've seen guys run 1,000, 1,200 pounds when they hook it to a Ventrac.
Yeah.
When you run a Ventrac, like 4,500 series, it can push a KartMate Pro around with 1,000 pounds on it all day long.
Yeah, it's like running with a tractor. It just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes.
Right. The KartMate can handle that. That we don't advertise that because you give somebody an inch, they take a mile. So that is for something like, say, you put sod in there. Again, would you put sod on a mulch force? I wouldn't. It's too damn high. Now, if you want more capacity, you can't get that in a mulch force. This other ding-dong out in Ohio, yeah, they've got the ability to extend the walls up. They don't advertise that because it'd be above your head.
Yeah.
It literally would be so high you couldn't even see over it. So with ours, you can put our Pro Walls, takes it up to 22 cubic foot, or our Mega Walls takes it up to 30 cubic foot. That now allows you to move nearly a yard of mulch, or just over a yard of mulch with the Mega Walls. And you could do mulch, you could do grass clippings, you can do leaves, you can do brick, you can do gravel, you can do dirt, you could do
firewood.
Sure, whatever you want. It's a lot of people call it the MulchMate cart, and it's like, no, it's called a KartMate. Ding ding. Mm-hmm. Like, pay attention. The reason your business sucks is because you can't even get that right. That annoys me. Like, not setting up your voicemail box, calling things that they're not. Like, honestly, calling it a weed whip.
that one bothers me.
Bro, it's
you know what they call it in Australia?
Hmm.
A whippersnipper. I'm not even joking.
I understand slang for certain things, but when you're in business, you're in business. You're not running slang. You're trying to make money. You're trying to provide a life for someone. I'm trying to build a company that pays people money like yourself so you can go live your awesome little life so I can go live my awesome little life.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the same. What we were talking about at lunch, building a wall. The wall is constructed of all the people in the team, and we just try to make it as unbreakable as possible. Correct?
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to do. So, getting back to the KartMate Pro. The other big thing about it is it's the most stable cart on the planet. The legs, I can't remember the exact dimension, but the design behind it was the wheels and tires are the same width as the rear tires on, like, say, a 60-inch mower.
Yeah.
Not the width of the deck, the width of the rear wheels. So it doesn't mess up your stripes. They also have, the KartMate Pro also has the same exact tire size as a Wright ZK on the front casters. I think it's like 13.5 by 6.5 by like 9, or I can't remember by 6 or something. Can't remember the exact tire dimensions. They're huge, and we also spec them. So they're pneumatic. They're filled with air. The rubber, we spec'd it with a thicker rubber compound so that if they go flat, they can actually be flat and still perform.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't say do that all the time, but it was how that came to be was Ed Wright was like, you know what you need? You need to have a spare tire on the back of this thing. And I'm like, okay, first off, Ed, I see your point, but I don't think that's the right way to execute the solution to that problem.
Would there be a way to do it as a what are those? The not run flats, but the
solid fill?
Yeah.
So the solid fill, the reason we didn't do that was for weight purposes. I didn't want the extra weight on the front because.
So what's the difference in weight between the solid versus?
I think it's like 3 times.
Is it?
Yeah, it was substantial, and I was already pushing. So the KartMate Pro weighs 150 pounds.
Yeah.
That was going to put us closer to like 188 or something. I can't remember the exact number. It's been too long now. But the weight was getting up there, and the reason the weight is a concern is shipping. Number one, shipping it to places.
Yeah.
And two, one of the coolest features I think it has, not an unknown feature. There's an unknown feature of KartMate Pro that we'll get to in a second, but it is the transportation mode. So the whole thing can flip straight up. You lift the nose of it, and it goes right up into place. It has this like little dorsal fin that falls into place. You put in a hitch pin, and the thing won't take up any extra room on your trailer.
Yeah.
And with that in place, typically it stays right under that like 6-foot number. So like if you want to put it in a box trailer, it'll fit.
Yeah.
And it's adjustable up and down with our hitch system.
It doesn't fit short trailers though. So mine's a 6. I think it's like 6 even.
It
so
should.
the door lip sticks down like 3-4 inches.
Okay.
For when the door folds up, so that does play a little bit of an issue.
Let's fine tune that one, because the way you get around that is if you put a hitch in the front of your mower, our HitchMate, you just drop the hitch down a little bit.
Yeah.
And so will that give the KartMate a little bit of what I would call ass rake? So the tail end of the KartMate Pro will be down a little bit.
Yeah.
That's fine. I actually prefer it to be down because if it hits something, it just pops up, like a curb or whatever. And when you do that, when you flip it up, it just lowers the nose.
Yeah.
So we might be able to figure that out. If not, just drive it into the trailer and then flip it up in the trailer.
I don't know. I think I tried that, but I don't remember. We'll have to bring my trailer over and we'll play with it.
Let's play with it, because I think there's definitely a way. If not, just take it off, and this secret feature of KartMate Pro would come into play. So the legs, this isn't a huge secret, but the legs actually fold in. You pull a T-pin, legs fold in, all manual. They've got all their own bushings. It's really smooth, really nice, all automatic. They snap into place. And the reason that feature exists is to allow you to put this thing on like a 36-inch mower and get through a 36-inch gate, because it's only 34 inches wide.
Yeah. Now, don't load it all the way up. I have done that before on a 36, and the 36 doesn't want to turn very well.
No,
so you do have to plan your turns on a level ground a little bit more, but it is doable.
It is doable. Like I said, a 36-inch mower is like an F-150.
Yeah.
It's going to need – that's what the KartMate
it's like a Colorado or something.
Yeah, it is. The KartMate RS is like a 36-inch mower's dream.
Yeah.
That's why that exists. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But the legs fold in, and when you disconnect the KartMate Pro from a mower, by the way, it only goes in with like a hitch pin. So it just it's like 3 seconds and it's off, right? So you take it off and you actually can stand it up on its nose and it will sit 90 degrees to the floor.
Oh, storage mode.
In storage mode, right?
So one in the shop no, they moved it.
It's probably in the trailer.
Probably.
It's probably in the trailer. So you just stand it up, put it up against the wall, and you can strap it to the wall in your trailer.
Yeah.
Very, very simple. And when it's in that scenario, shoot, what is it? 5 foot tall?
Yeah, it's a little shorter than I am.
Yeah, so it's a little shorter than you, 5'3", something like that. I don't know the exact number. Point is that we've thought of everything to make sure it can get to where you need it to go. It's easy to operate. It's easy to store. It's easy to transport. All that kind of good stuff. I'm not sure if I mentioned this either. The unit actually dumps manually.
Yes.
Right. So the reason we didn't add the power actuators, one, the way all that would work, I feel the problem would be it'd be too slow. Now, let me just dive into this. For anybody that's listening to this and you really want to know why I didn't do it, and the reason why I refuse to do it is because most people don't realize what it takes to actually perform that duty. You're now going to have an actuator. You're going to have the bracketry to mount it to the said KartMate Pro. In order for you to have a high enough strength actuator to pull it, because I would use electric, even if you did hydraulic, then you have electric over hydraulic pump, then you have hoses, then you have oils, then you have the ram and all that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
The electric
dragging on your jacket.
Am I?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Sorry.
No, the mic is on your jacket.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, guys. So, can you hear me good here? Oh, no. What I need to do is need to do this. I need to get undressed.
Just flip it out.
Hey. So, how's that, baby? You like the sound of my voice?
I think I need to leave. I'm uncomfortable.
I need a moment with myself.
Now I'm really uncomfortable.
So, when you put this actuator on, it's going to have to be electric. It's going to need the bracketry to mount it to the KartMate frame. You then need an actuator that's so expensive because it's going to be custom and you need a lot of strength to lift up that tub. Then you start losing speed. Mm-hmm. And when you lose speed, people get all ticked off. They don't realize when you need speed, you lose strength.
Yeah, because it's not like it's going to instantly dump it.
Can I make a comparison here really quickly and easily? The fastest guy in the world.
Yeah.
That runs, right? Is he going to be able to go up against a wrestler?
Yeah.
The Rock. Do you think The Rock is the fastest running person in the world?
No.
Absolutely not. He's not trained to do that. So when you have an actuator that runs really strong, it's not going to be the fastest. That's just physics. Okay? So that's just that. Now you have to understand something. Now you have to run wiring through the KartMate. And it's got to work no matter what direction that thing articulates, or if it's up or it's down. And then you have to have a power station on the front of the mower because then it has to disconnect cleanly and easily to then pull the KartMate off. And then you have to then run a wiring harness through your mower. You have to run a control panel with rocker switches, an on and off switch, lighting.
That has to be put onto your driving stations.
Yes. And then you have to run power to all. So then you have to go down to the battery. Then there's fuses. It is not as easy as like click, click, boom.
Yeah.
That's a song. What's
Saliva.
Mm-hmm. That's my era. So that's why the actuator is not a great idea and why we will not do it, because it would cost minimum $2,500 to sell retail.
You'd be triple the speed just by hopping off the mower, flipping it, and then going back.
It's so simple. It's so simple. So everybody complains that, it's going to be too heavy. Have you ever had me stand in it and dump me out of it?
I have, and I've done it. I did it to Sam and Gavin standing in it.
Right. So you can have 500 pounds in it, and you one-handedly can lift it up and dump it.
Yeah.
It's because we are smart. We knew that was going to be an issue. And so the way we positioned the pivot point, it's not all the way at the nose of the KartMate.
Well, think about dump trailers. Mm-hmm. What's the strongest dump trailer when it comes to the piston?
The scissor style?
It's telescoping up in the front.
Is that the strongest?
Yeah, because the pivot point's in the back, all the pressure's in the front, so it's able to pick it up much easier.
You're right. Yep.
It's leverage.
Yeah, it's just leverage. It's just simple inputs, outputs, right?
Yeah. So
that's easy to understand.
See, look at me, I'm smart.
There you go. Yeah, I never said you were stupid. That's for sure. That's why Fridays, if you were dumb, you wouldn't be here. What happened?
I said only on Fridays.
Only on Fridays. Only days and ending Y's when I'm stupid.
Accurate.
So that is that is why we designed it the way we designed it. It is actually incredibly easy. You can throw 500 pounds into it, dump it with one hand, slam that SOB back down, jump back on the mower, and go. It's seconds. If you're so lazy that you can't even get off the mower to just do this really quick, what you don't understand is that if you run a mulch force on a multi-force, which, keep in mind, I'm proud that they did that because they copied us.
Yeah.
They flat out came out a year or two after us.
You're not doing something good unless people are trying to copy you.
Exactly. So what's the reality of it all? The KartMate Pro, because it's not on a mower, you can actually get that thing up into a bed in like straddle plants and, maneuver your way into a bed and you can dump it.
Oh, I go over plants, or not over, but like it'll go around plants, or it has enough clearance where I can go over them and have no issue.
Exactly. With the mulch force, if you're going to get the thing into a bed, you have to drive the entire mower into the bed.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to drive the entire mower into the bed, well, you could drive a KartMate Pro in the whole bed, save yourself $1,500, carry more materials, store it more easily, have a more robust system. And we didn't even talk about the chassis.
Yeah.
The chassis is 2-inch, 1/8-inch wall, race car chassis tubing.
It is stout.
It is stout. I mean, we manufacture it all here in-house. And if you look at it, it looks just like a race car chassis because my background's in racing, and I thought it would work and look cool, and it did.
I will say, you get a workout trying to move those things, though.
Oh, yeah, they're big. They're heavy.
So those the legs are like they're not heavy, but like
they're
try just picking them up after a while. You're like, wow, like I got my curls in for today.
Yeah, for sure. And okay, so that's a great segue into the KartMate Pro. The original name for it was going to be the KartMate Commercial, and RS was going to be KartMate Residential.
Yeah.
And I ultimately changed it because there's no reason why an RS can't be used in a commercial setting.
RS sounds.
It was a racing thing.
Yeah.
It's like the Camaro RS, and
I know. I picked up on that, but also at the same time, it was like RS Residential. Like it just kind of flowed perfectly.
Yes.
So
so that's why I played with the names a little. So with the KartMate Pro, it was supposed to be, and it is the unbreakable tank that it truly is today. Nobody's ever called me and ordered anything other than a tire because they punctured it with something.
I gotta get Sean a tire or have him come down and buy one.
Yeah, I mean
that was his dumb fault because he had a ratchet strap around it he was trying to move something and had a ratchet strap. When cut the ratchet strap and the tire was there, and went. Pfft.
Yeah, that's a tire. I can't do it. You can go out right now today, go buy a brand new set of tires for your truck, drive home, have a nail in it, and ruin the tire.
Been there.
We've all been there, I think.
I think the first week I had the dump truck, I got a nail in the tire.
Yeah, that's just way life. It's Murphy's Law, dude.
Yeah.
If it can go wrong, it will go wrong.
It shall.
So we've never sold legs. I've had to send out some replacement tubs because they got messed up in shipping. In the early days, the knuckle, I had a few people bend a few knuckles because they were way overloaded. They knew they were way overloaded, and they just bought a new knuckle because they were like, "Look."
Was that the guy that did it like with sod or something like that?
Yeah, and they were spinning it really fast on a big mower, and then they caught a curb with the wheel. So it was like this multiple compound effect that got them.
It was a hey dummy moment.
Yeah, but of course, every scenario that comes up, I pay very close attention to, and I take all the haters online. I take them into consideration. All my customers into consideration, all the feedback that we get at trade shows, anything we get feedback on here, all the stuff, I listen to all of it and I go, okay, what needs our attention? And so the only thing on the KartMate that we ever really changed was the Heim joint. So, okay, I'll give you some vulnerable information here that will make me look a little dumb, but then you'll see how we recovered from it. So when we first, actually, I'm very smart, and I'll get to you why, and then I just got cheap is what it is. The Heim joint. The Heim joint that we spec'd on the original KartMate Pro that got released in Kentucky was a 3/4 inch Heim joint with a 5/8 inch bolt that went through it. After we got back, everybody was like oohing and ahhing all over. Orders were pouring in. I'm like, okay, we got something here. This is great. How do I make it less expensive so we can make some good money on it? And so I was taking bits and pieces and components out of it and trying to make it optimized is all I was doing.
Because there used to be like two little support braces that were right around the
boomerangs.
legs. Yeah.
They were like boomerangs. They were very difficult to bend right. If they were off at all, then there was There was bolts that those welded into, or I'm sorry, nuts that those welded into. Those nuts are expensive. They're hard to put in place. You have to orientate them correctly. So just the process of welding it all together was very cumbersome. And you had to really pay attention. If the threads got any like welding splatter in it, they were destroyed. And then you had to plug them in powder coating. You had to plug them, and it's just all this stuff, right?
And like even when you plug them, sometimes
Stuff
there's
still
still
gets
a
in.
little bit gets in, so then you have to ream it out.
Yeah, you have to chase it with a tap or something. And so I looked at all that, and I started pulling things out of it, trying to make it more simple. And one of the things I did was I went from a 3/4 inch heim joint to a 1/2 inch heim joint. Now, I don't know. No, I do know it wasn't big enough. All of my race cars typically were 1/2 inch heim joints. And I thought, well, if it's good enough for a race car, it's good enough for this. Wrong-o. So we ended up buying, we had a choice to go American or Chinese. On this heim joint, I went Chinese because it was like half the price. We start shipping them, and they never broke that I know of out in the field working. You know where they broke?
Storage mode.
Storage mode, going down the highway at like 80 mile an hour with a headwind. And when you'd ever get that, like a breeze at 80, then turns it into like 120.
Yeah, especially like out in the plains.
Yeah, and then a bump. So you have all these forces in there, and it would break those heims off. And so here's how this went. We were like, okay, recover, let's fix this. So we upgraded to a Chrome Moly American version that was 1/2 inch. And then I saw some of those bend, and I said, let's go to 5/8. And I saw one or two bend, and I'm like, no, I don't want this conversation to ever bite me ever again. So we went right back to the 3/4 inch, right before I freaking started. And that's where we are today. So that was like the only kind of oops that we had with that. And then the knuckle, when I may have seen 4 or 5 bend when guys were like flat out overloading it.
Yeah.
And they knew it, and they weren't complaining. They're like, how do I fix it? I put a C-clamp on it. You can, basically clamp it back together. But once metal fatigues, it gives up a little bit easier and easier, and easier each time it happens. But there's these like side supports on the knuckle, and they're kind of shaped like this. And instead, when I say shaped like this, it means like a V. They're just meant to help the knuckle from spreading.
Yeah.
Right. So we made those wider, and then the holes that we cut into it to reduce weight, we reduced the size of those holes just to give it some more meat in there. Now it did make the knuckle overall like a pound heavier, but like I don't care about a pound in that scenario. In other scenarios, I very much care about grams and pounds and all that kind of jazz. So the knuckles are a little different today, and then that heim joint went from 3/4 down to 1/2 inch, up to 5/8, back up to 3/4. That was the only thing. So outside of that, there's no maintenance on it. There's no grease points. Well, there's grease points on the wheels. So that's another conversation. So when I spec these wheels and tires, we don't make them.
Yeah.
I was able to get a thicker rubber compound, which helps with penetration, helps with if they go flat, it will continually run. I was trying to save people. I didn't go run flat or tweels. Tweels are too expensive. They didn't even have the size I wanted at the time, at least. And then the bearings. So they're a tapered bearing, and I had decided that if I wanted to go with a maintenance-free, like a bushing style, which would have lasted fine, it was going to be like a custom run thing, and I was going to have to commit to like 10,000 wheels. And number one, at the time, I didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Number two, I didn't have the space here to keep them.
I don't think we have the space still.
We don't have the space still. And at the end of the day, the juice really wasn't worth the squeeze, because when you use a KartMate, it's not like a mower where it's out there and it's running mile after mile after mile after mile.
Yeah.
It's not doing that.
You're doing it for most jobs for at least 2 months.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4 months. And then you have all those like construction jobs you do, moving plants around, all that kind of stuff. It ends up being...
It is so great for plants, I will say that.
Yeah, it's definitely great for plants and firewood. I've done fence work with it. Grass clippings is freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
Leaves, cutting down ornamental grasses, trimming up liriope, trimming up hedges, low voltage lighting. Throw low voltage lighting it, drive across the yard, plop them in the ground.
Yeah, versus having to take multiple trips.
Yeah, or if like you feel like a pothole in your yard like I do, you just throw some dirt in it, drive over there, fill it up. It makes life easy.
Yeah,
right?
versus carrying a bag.
Yeah, it's just, or bag material. Just throw the bags in there and get going, right?
See, that's the thing, though, is like comparing it to the things that you can do with it versus Me walking from one side of your yard to the other with a wheelbarrow sucks. It's 300 feet from one corner to another at minimum, versus taking the KartMate and just getting on the mower and running it. Like, tell them how the KartMate came about.
So my dad and I was talking to my dad about it, and he's like, dude, so he's the CFO here currently and the president. We're actually looking to replace him with somebody with even more experience, which it's not his fault. We're just growing at a crazy rate, and we need to make sure we stay ahead of this bad boy. Just all part of business. But
we need the next step.
We need somebody that knows far more than us.
Yeah.
That's what we need. So that's what we're working on this year. He's like, stay focused on Mulchmate, stay focused on Mulchmate. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So in the background, behind his back, he didn't know, but I built one.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I jumped ahead there. I was telling him about it, and he's like, stay focused, stay focused, stay focused. We go to mulch his property again with the Mulchmate, and so he grabs a wheelbarrow, takes off across the yard. That the direction he took was from the driveway to the furthest corner of our property.
The furthest first and work.
So
back.
that's like at least 500 feet.
Yeah,
at least. So he goes, and I'm doing something, and then I think I was messing with my daughter, and getting her something, whatever it was. And then I fill up the wheelbarrow with a Mulchmate, which is freaking fantastic. And I turn around and I walk across the yard. Well, by that time, he had dumped it, spread it, and was on his way back. And we had crossed paths about halfway. And he looks at me and goes, you build that damn KartMate right freaking now. Because he's like, this sucks. And I'm like, yeah, I tried to explain to you that when I learned that a wheelbarrow sucks was when we were doing all the Mulchmate testing. Yeah. See, before that, I just was like every other landscaper. This is how we do it. This is just the pain that I have to endure, and you get used to it. It's your normal.
Yeah, you work through it.
You just kind of adjust your brain. Once I started developing Mulchmate, and we started, we fixed the very dumb job of shoving mulch from a truck into a wheelbarrow is a mindless, stupid person's game. You're an idiot if you're still shoveling mulch out of a truck. No offense. If you're listening to this and you're still shoveling, you're wasting time. You're literally wasting your youth or whatever life you have left in you. You're wasting it. You're stupid. There's an easier way. It costs you like $500 a month, roughly, and you can just press a button and it'll fill it for you. Yeah. So when I was doing all the testing with Mulchmate, I started noticing, I'm like, hold on a second. I hate emptying the mulch into this wheelbarrow and then walking it over to that pile and dumping it and then walking it back. This sucks.
Yeah, here's a problem. How do I fix it?
Yeah, the sucky part changed from getting mulch out of the truck to then moving the wheelbarrow. And I'm like, okay, I got to fix this one day. And so I had thought about it for a couple of years, and that's how all this kind of came to be. So the big overarching thing here, dollars and cents for you guys, is it's crazy to hear, but I have the data. You don't. I have it.
Data is always nice.
The data is the data, right? So I'm offering you guys free data, which shouldn't be free, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. The KartMate Pro attached to a decent mower. I'm just going to say a Toro Grandstand. I have nothing against Toro.
Yeah.
Zero.
Oh, I had one. I love it.
I ran nothing but Toros in my company. So this is not a Toro bus game with the whole Mulch Force thing.
Yeah, we just use Wright because Wright is...
Well, they're right down the street.
Yeah, it's a local company, but you're also close with Ed.
I'm close with Ed.
I love my Wright. So.
I think they're great tractors. My Toros were great, other than the stupid stator and the motor, which they don't make. It's not Toro's fault. Either way, the KartMate Pro, when we talk about data and money, it flat out performs almost exactly like the Mulchmate. When it comes down to profits, money savings, liability reduction efforts, employees going, oh, I don't have to push a wheelbarrow again?
Cool.
Sweet. And you mean people I know that have bought KartMates when they really didn't believe in them, and then after they got them, they're like, dude, I haven't touched a wheelbarrow since.
Well, it also keeps you feeling like you're standing more upright versus having the weight of the wheelbarrow dragging you down. Because if you're walking around with a wheelbarrow all day, you feel it everywhere. Versus running with the KartMate, granted, you're still having to bend over to sometimes get that little bit out, or if you're pitchforking it out, but it's not all that weight on your feet going from one place to another.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to add a little asterisk to this conversation. If you're in a very mountainous area like the mountains of North Carolina, Utah, somewhere with a bunch of hills, like not hills, I'm talking about like mountains.
Yeah.
The KartMate Pro on anything smaller than like a Wright ZK is probably not going to be fun or ideal for you.
Yeah.
The The KartMate Pro weighs 151 pounds. Is exactly what it weighs. Now, with that said, the RS weighs 55 pounds. If you're in those mountainous terrainish areas, I don't care if you want more volume. The RS will work for you. Yes, it carries 7 cubic feet, not 10 cubic feet. Boo-hoo. You just make 1 or 2 extra runs, throughout however many yards you're doing. Not that big a deal. So, with that said, you guys that are listening that are in the mountains of Italy or whatever, if you're looking for, something that works in the mountains, the RS is more nimble, it's smaller, it's lighter, and actually when it turns, it actually kind of leans and it kind of digs in and kind of steers the mower for you.
Yeah.
The KartMate Pro doesn't do that just because of the way it's designed. So the RS, you would think, it only has one wheel. It's doesn't carry as much material. It's not as robust. It's, Nick used to call it the residential. It is still like, it's my go-to be honest with you, because at my house, I'm not doing like commercial landscaping.
Yeah.
I'm like moving firewood once in a while or just dumb little things. It's easier. If you're a commercial badass and you're doing commercial mulching, landscaping, when you're a true contractor.
Yeah.
That's when the KartMate Pro comes into play. Now, let's talk about some of the naysayer things I've heard. And I'd love for you to think about it while I'm saying this.
Yeah.
So the naysayers are, let me see here. I just had it and I just lost it. They're like, that's dumb. I'll just use a wheelbarrow. The other one is the mowers. I don't have extra mowers for that, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So I got you. I hear you. There's some solutions. Stop naysaying. Find a solution to a problem. So if you really want to run your business better, you'll make changes. In order to run a business better, there's just changes involved. I don't care what you're doing. Software, logo, maybe the location of your business. All those things have to change sometimes to make it better.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, I agree.
Okay. So there you go. I'm not busting anybody up. Maybe it's not self-induced. Maybe it's just a matter of just making a few changes. All right. So the naysayers say, oh, my mower should be out there cutting grass. Okay, dude. In our area here on the East Coast, we're very, central mid-Atlantic area here. We start mulching, at least I did because I was a real business. I started doing the prep work in February and I was mulching in March.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm going to start doing.
You're not cutting freaking grass in March here, dude. You're not. If you start April 1st.
It's actually colder in February here than it is in December.
Oh,
typically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. 100% is. So it gets really cold January, February here.
Yeah.
So what I would do is, because it's cold, it makes the ground hard, which actually made edging for us easier because we had a Turf Tech bed edger, we had bed redefiners, and we would actually sharpen our edging shovels.
Yeah.
And so we could just slice through soil really easy because it was hard just on the surface and then leave a nice edge. So I would send out crews and go do all the edging and do all the cleanups and all that, and then we'd start mulching right behind them. So in this terrain area, geographic area, those mowers are just sitting.
Yeah.
And so for like 4 to 6 weeks, throw KartMate on there. Delaware, New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, Indy, Michigan, Tennessee, North South Carolina.
The KartMate comes really in handy when you have like a dump trailer, your low-profile dump trailer,
sure.
And you could just take the KartMate right up into the back of it, dump it, and then back right out.
100%.
That's where that comes into play.
Guys build ramps and they go from the dump trailer into the back of their truck.
A little sketchy to me.
I've seen they buy these big ramps.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Just to me, that just would. I don't know. The angle freaks me out.
Yeah. So okay.
Especially, well, that's also because I'm solo. But
that's fine. I mean, to each their own. But that's the big one. Everybody's like, oh, my mower's this, that, the next thing. They're supposed to be cutting grass. Okay. First off, you got to stop looking at a mower as a lawnmower.
Yeah.
It is a piece of.
It's a tool.
It's a tool. It's a piece of metal that if you use it, it will just make you money.
I use my mowers just without a leaf plow as a leaf plow.
Sure. Be very careful with that. That's how you start fires.
Yeah.
I've done it. So
well, as soon as it's done, I literally back away, blow it off, because I keep the backpack blower on me,
Good.
And then I blow it off.
Good. That's that. I've burnt mowers to the ground doing that.
The other one I hear is the strain on the mower.
Yeah. So like we've kind of already addressed that. So when you're not using the power of the engine to power the blades, that power can be used to help supplement the energy going to the pumps and the motors in the mower.
Yeah, well, people are always worried about overheating.
But how are they going to overheat it when it slips?
Yeah.
If it doesn't get traction, then how does it overheat? So you can't have somebody saying it's going to overheat when the other one's saying it's not going to get any traction. So here's the reality. And this information came from Ed Wright himself. He goes, dude, listen.
Hence why I'm poking these questions.
Right. That's what I want you to do. That's what I want you to do. So the other one is transportation. Don't let me forget that one. So when it comes to...
I got to pee, though.
Go. So when it comes to the overheating situation with these pumps and motors and all that, now, if you go buy a zero-turn mower from, say, Tractor Supply, okay, first off, you're not a landscape mowing professional. You are just a guy cutting grass or a kid getting started. No offense, that's where you're at. Those are not true professional units, at least in our area. I've never seen, big, huge actual commercial mowers. So understand the limitations of your equipment. If you're driving around in a CRV Honda with a single axle little trailer in the back, bro, love you, great hustle, good job getting started. We all get started somewhere, but you are not a true company professional where yes, you're cutting grass, yes, you're making money, yes, you're putting food on the table. That's great, good job, but a true professional has set equipment to do said job correctly. It's kind of like here at Dawson Manufacturing. We have lasers and powder coating booths and the best welders and fume extractors and plasma tube cutters. I mean, we have a air compressor here, a screw, rotary air compressor that costs $50,000, right? That's a true company. These other people that try to mimic us and all that, they don't even go. I'm going to tell you this. Anybody that wants to talk about us and SmartGate, I get so sick of hearing about this. Just go on Google, find their Google location or whatever, and just click on it and look to see what you find. It's the dude's house. Did you just hear what I just said? No. Okay.
I had to run down the hall.
Don't worry about it. It baffles my mind when people start getting on us about, oh, you cost too much, or this or that. This company's cheaper. The reason they're cheaper is because you go on Google and you find the dude's house. I'm talking about SmartGate. If you Google SmartGate, the address is his house. And his 11 kids.
Oh, dinner. Lunch just came up.
That's not a business.
Yeah.
And I was talking about, people that get started. Say like that CRV Honda right there. If he's towing a single axle trailer, congratulations, you've created yourself a job and a little bit of income. But that's not a real business.
Yeah.
It's just not. And so we're talking about the mowers that you find at like Tractor Supply. Those aren't commercial grade mowers.
Yeah.
Unless there's a Tractor Supply somewhere that's specializing.
Well, I know there's one up in Westminster that does like deal Kubotas.
Sure.
I do know that.
Sure. There's going to be some of them out there, but I'm talking about real commercial mowers.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of do you find a Tractor Supply. There is the right standard B. Yes, they call that a commercial mower, but it's not.
Yeah. Well, you also have, they even say like it is a low end commercial. It has the commercial features of the deck, not necessarily the deck design because it's aero core further right, and there's a couple small differences where they were able to cut the costs.
Right, the thickness of metal and the whole drivetrain of those things is just not what a ZK is.
Yeah, they took the basics of you need a motor, you need hydros to move, and then you need the deck and the blades. That's basically all you need. You got a couple of pulleys, you pull the blade engagement
a PTO
button. Yeah, PTO, couldn't think of the name of it. Pull a PTO, starts the blades, push it, turns them off, turn the key off, mower's off.
Yeah, so
it's very simple basics of a mower.
Right. So not all mowers are created equal. So this whole conversation of you're going to blow up the hydros of a mower. Okay. Let's just say you're right. Let's just go down that road.
Yeah.
If you were going to do that, you're not going to do it right out of the gate. It's going to take some time to wear those suckers out. Don't care what model you do. If you wear out a set of pumps, let's just say a year early, but you're out there hustling that sumbitch for 3-4 years. Instead of you getting 5 years out of it, you get 4 years out of it, and you spend $800 on pump and motor or something. I guarantee you that KartMate has made you 100,000-fold.
Yeah.
On those stupid pumps and motors. You gotta understand something. When it comes to these mowers, they are nuts and bolts and a couple components. That's all they are.
Suck, bang, boom.
That's all the motor is.
Suck, bang, blow.
Yeah, suck, bang, blow. So when it comes to, replacing a part, who the fuck cares? It's like oh, I bought this steel concrete cutting thing, and I expect the blade to last forever. No, dipshit.
Shiny.
It's that shiny syndrome bullshit. It is just a tool. It is just an item that'll get thrown away eventually, or sold, or recycled, or whatever. Stop getting so caught up in, I'm trying to keep this nice, and just worry about how much money does this piece of equipment make me.
Yeah.
That's it. And yeah, okay, so if I had to change the way I run my matrix a little bit to add in a KartMate, and it wears it out an extra year early, but I've made an extra $80,000, $100,000, $200,000 with a stupid cart, and I've had to replace my, let's say it's $1,200 for pumps. Do the math, dude.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Am I wrong?
It's simple.
It's very simple.
2 + 2 = 4 in this case. Like, that's literally all it is. And then the other thing, too, is people see it as how it can affect their business now. Cool. Just think about how it affects your business now. Say you go home a couple hours earlier, or you make a couple extra $100 profit at the end. There's two scenarios here. Either you can go home and spend more time with your family, or you go out and do another job because you have the time and availability to do so, therefore allowing you to exponentially change the amount of work and money that you're able to make.
And why are you working anyway?
To make money.
To make money.
Provide for your family.
And the goal here is not just to make money. It's to make the most amount of money per second humanly possible.
Yeah.
Versus, not per hour, per second.
Yeah.
It all freaking matters.
Think about Jeff Bezos. I mean, dude's making a couple thousands per second.
Oh, tens of thousands probably per second.
Yeah, so it's like, do the math. If you want to be a...
How do you do it? How does he do it? He puts the
Leverage.
tools in place to create the leverage to then copy and paste what he's been doing to then make the money that he makes. There's no difference in landscaping versus that.
Yeah.
You need the tools to create the leverage to then complete a task to get paid, and all you're trying to do is multiply the amount of tasks you get done without wearing yourself out.
Yeah, so look at it as the way, what's going to benefit you best? What are you looking for at the end of the day?
Right.
If you're looking for more profit, KartMate's your tool.
That's it.
If you're looking for more time with your family, at the end of the day, this is your tool.
That's it.
You know, I was able to myself do 6 yards of mulch in a third of the time, and then I went out and did another job that was 8 yards, and I did that in half the time. So I was able to come home at 5 o'clock versus being out for 2 days doing 2 jobs.
With more freaking money in your pocket and less back pain.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, too, is think about the strain you're putting on your body.
You'll never get that body back.
Landscaping's not
easy
for the weak.
No, it's not.
You know, and granted, yeah, every Joe Schmo can go out, buy a mower, and cut a lawn. Anybody can do it. It's very easy.
Yep.
Now, it's a matter of how do you make the leverage and make the systems and make the profit to be able to do so. In this sense, for mulch, for moving debris around the yard, any of those projects. I don't know where the other word was. Anyway, for any of those projects, the KartMate is the tool for that.
Period. There's nothing better. There's nothing less expensive that equals it.
Yeah.
It's just, and then, okay, just a little shameless plug here. If you ran like a dual pod or tripod or LED lighting system for mowers, if you put that on there, like this time of year, this is coming out in February, right? Dude, you can knock out a few extra jobs in the evening or early in the morning when you're sitting around your thumb up your butt doing nothing. You can get those jobs done a lot easier, a lot quicker. Customers happier because their project's done faster. I had my windows tinted today. It was done in like an hour and a half. I was so happy.
Yeah, it wasn't long because you dropped it off this morning?
10:15, and by 11:30 it was done.
Yeah.
I like that. As a consumer, I like the speed. It makes me feel better that it's getting done quicker, right? So guys that are listening, if you're doing landscaping and you're moving any kind of material, anything around, you can do it with a KartMate.
Yeah.
The other one, the guys were like, this is the other rebuttal I hear. The mowers are out there mowing. Okay. The used mower that you threw away, you could have put in a couple $100 and used that one. Or you don't have an extra mower, go buy a used one on Facebook Marketplace.
Or you don't use the 36 all the time, or you don't use X mower all the time, and you have backup mowers.
Right. I had backup mowers at my landscape company all the time because they would get old. I retire them, and then it's like, oh, you know what I could do? I could throw a new hydro pump in that thing. Or I throw a new wheel bearing on it, or I throw whatever else on it. I don't need the blades to work. I just need the stupid power plant to push the darn thing.
Exactly.
Throw a set of tires on. You can buy them on Amazon. Use a couple wrenches. You can throw new tires on it in no time.
Yeah, if it's an old mower that you threw away and the blades don't work, or
who cares?
You don't have to put, or you don't want to put the money into doing that.
Throw a battery on the sumbitch.
That or just take the freaking deck off and use it as it's a moving unit. I used to use I'm not even kidding. I used to use this 36B that I have. I would move I think it was an 8x10 trailer around all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I would just drop it on a hitch and around the yard.
There you go. It's not that hard.
It's a great tool.
And it's a one-man operation thing that any ding-dong can run and use. And what you don't realize is being that it's an articulating cart, it doesn't bend in the center.
Yeah.
So it's stiff. It's how easy is it to maneuver?
Dude, I have no problem with it by myself.
No.
Granted, beginning, braking period, little stiff.
Sure.
Outside of that, very easy.
Sure. Well, it's like it's no different. Driving it is no different than driving a truck and a trailer.
Yeah.
It's going to drive differently than when you drive your truck without the trailer. You have to drive it a little differently, but it being out in front of you like that, I mean, you can sit there and do donuts all night long.
Yeah, you're able to see the objects versus like when you're driving a trailer behind you. Sometimes you're like, I'm going to hit that curb.
Yeah, you don't know what's on the right side or the left side depending on how you're backing up. With this thing, dude, it's super easy. And we really barely touched on it. So the legs fold in. We didn't really touch on this one much, and I'll just kind of throw this in there. The legs are as wide as the rear tires, right? The reason that is so it doesn't spill. It doesn't flip over on that crazy terrain like that trailer we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That's why they're so darn wide. It's like a spider, right? It's got them big old legs hanging out there. So that's KartMate Pro in a nutshell, guys. I think that we've gone over pretty much everything. Is there anything that we missed? Like I feel like there's more people, naysayers, that say stuff that I'd love to address.
Not that I could think of. We went over rigidity, backstory, the knuckle, the legs, the frame, the pivot point. I mean, we also have added options like the double dump. I mean, we didn't really get into that, but all that really does is just give you the extra. It pretty much throws the.
Let's just talk about it. It doesn't cost us anything to talk about it real quick. So the double dump is an option that attaches to the tub.
Yeah.
And the issue with
what's the standard dump angle?
Almost 90 degrees.
Okay.
The reason that we added that was, okay, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Good old physics.
Right? So when the tub goes up and it's basically sitting at 90 degrees, what would happen is the mulch or dirt or all that would just pile up right in front of it, and it wouldn't all come out of it because there's no clearance, right? And we sacrificed that for keeping it nice and low.
Yeah. And
the pivot point of the tub also affected that as well. Yeah. So what we thought we did is we found like this really perfect like middle ground between all three different, physical things that it's like, okay, there's a pyramid in life, right? And the pyramid life is if you want something, you can get it cheap, fast, and high quality, right?
Yeah.
You can only get two. You can only get two of those. So you can get fast and quality, but it's not cheap. If you want it cheap and fast, then the quality sucks, right? So that's that trifecta. So in this, that's what we were dealing with. The double dump is something.
That'd be a fun marketing slogan to go about. Like, just throw it on your website, and you have the pyramid.
Yeah, pick
and just
three.
Pick two.
Yeah, well, pick two. Well, when you come to MulchMate, you got all three. Sucker. Just saying, we nailed all three with the MulchMate.
We do.
We have it. But the double dump was something that I came up with that it was like I'd heard enough people go, or I'd seen it on YouTube or social media where they dump it and then you'd see their hands scoop it, and I'm screaming at the phone, get on the tractor and back up, it'll all fall out.
That's what I do all the time.
People are just I'm just gonna say it, they're dumb. It's just they don't think, they just react. Part of this podcast for me is to spread the awareness of quit reacting. Use your damn brain.
Yeah, be proactive.
Be proactive. I say that all the time around here, right? So when it came to that, I said, okay, what can I build to sell to these guys that will help? Because I can't fix everybody that doesn't listen to me or implement what I say. So I have to build products that do it for them. That's why it's Automate, MulchMate, KartMate,
SnowMate.
Right. So the double dump, what it does is that when you flip the tub up, it goes up to that 90-degree angle, and then it has another pivot point, and it trips, and it falls. The whole entire tub
pretty much collapses on itself.
Yeah,
for the most part.
it folds flat over and almost lays flat on the ground almost. I don't know what degree that is. That must be like
It's not 180. It's like 160, 150-ish.
Yeah, 155.
It's in that range.
It's traveling like 155, 160 degrees.
Yeah.
It's way over. And once you do that, it fully empties itself completely, period, end of story. Nice label, by the way, on your water. I didn't turn it for me.
Wait for it.
My man. CTO. My man.
I went over to Jamie and I was like, hey, can you print me a label? Because Sam did it on his. And I was like, oh, that's a smart idea. I should probably do it on mine.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the same thing. And I was like, put CTO on there.
You know what we're thinking about doing? We're talking about starting to do all of our decal printing in-house.
Ooh.
So Jamie found like a $20,000 printer he wants to buy, and we're going to do all the decals in-house.
That'd be sweet.
That would be very sweet.
Because
So
guess what? I'm having you put one on my truck.
yeah, I could do all that.
Powered by Dawson Manufacturing.
Yeah, so like if a company called up and they're like, hey, can you put the my company logo on the back of the Mulch Mate when they purchase it? We go, sure. It's a $500 upcharge or whatever. We just throw it through the system, print it out. Justin puts it on. That's simple.
Cool.
So anyway, the double dump is something you can buy and put on at any point in time on the KartMate Pro. It allows the whole system to dump out super easy. It's a really nice little system, very robust, very thick metal, very simple to install. Drill a couple holes. There's a strap that you have to wrap around. It's got a bungee to it, so it doesn't like flop around everywhere. I really like it. I think it's very, very smart. Very, very smart little system. So outside of that, guys, the only last thing I want to leave you with is we have some dealers around the country that have them in stock. Call us. We can tell you where they are. I'm not going to go through that right now. If you want to buy it directly from us, you can. You can go on Amazon. You can go on Tractor Supply. You can go on Ballard Inc.
Are they on Amazon?
Yeah, they're on Amazon. They're on Ballard Inc. Yeah, ballardinc.com.
Ballard-Inc.
Ballard-Inc. I'd prefer all y'all to buy it directly from us, right from mulchmateusa.com. But if you've got some loyalty somewhere else and want to spread the love, whatever, that's fine. Here's the deal. It ships freight. Okay?
Yes.
Freight's not cheap. It's going to be a couple $100, maybe $3. Okay, it's just the way the world is now. I'm sorry. It's that's why I developed RS. RS ships UPS. So when you get home, it's sitting in your front door. That's the beauty of that.
It's they're really not that heavy.
What's that? The RS?
Yeah.
No, they're not. But the point of it is that you can.
They're awkward.
They're awkward.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah. When it comes to shipping, it's just very annoying. But anyway, think of it this way, guys. Say tonight you've heard this podcast, you're like, damn, Nick got me sold. Kyle's got me sold. I'm going to buy a KartMate Pro. Here's how this is going to look. You're going to go on our website, you're going to mulchmateusa.com. You're going to go to the store. You're going to click on the little categories tab. You're going to go down to KartMate. Click on KartMate. It's then going to take you and it's going to show you KartMate. It's going to show you all the different options. You just pick. Once you have that, then you need a hitch mate for your mower. Go on. There's a chart that shows you all the different hitch mates on there. It's like a little spreadsheet. Find your mower. Find the hitch. Go back to that categories tab. Click on that. Go to the hitch mate front.
This will all be changing soon too. So
we're working on an even better system.
We're making something a lot easier, so you can just click, boom, done.
Yeah, and I'm just telling you exactly how to do this right now.
Yeah.
Today. So this spring, if this is what you want, this is how you do it. Then you get your hitch mate, you add it to your cart, you go to your cart, you can either go through like PayPal, you can finance it through PayPal Credit, which I've actually done for my Audi parts.
What's the other, Affirm? Is that another one?
Something like that. I don't know if we have that on our website yet.
No.
I don't think so. I think it's just PayPal. It's just easy.
Okay.
If you don't have a PayPal account, you should have one. Get all that, pay for it. What we do is we can ship it to your door, but it's very expensive. I really highly recommend don't do that. What I say is that have it delivered to the local terminal. You can choose on this on the website.
Yeah.
Have it delivered to the local terminal closest to you. The reason I say that is you save some money, but then you can go pick it up almost whenever you want because a lot of the shipping companies are open really late.
Yeah.
I've picked up stuff from terminals my whole life. And you could work all day, cut off at like 4 or 5 o'clock, hit Chick-fil-A up on the way to the terminal, eat your spicy chicken sandwich and your sweet tea, and then go to the terminal. They'll slide that son of a bitch right in the back of your truck. It's not that hard. You don't even need a forklift. Get home. You could literally put it together in the back of your truck. You could put this thing in a CRV if you wanted. It's just a small little tub.
Yeah.
They could keep the pallet for all I care and all you care, really. And then when you get home, all the parts and components are in the tub. So you pull them out. You put the hitch mate on the mower first, put the knuckle on, Put the
It is much easier to do it this way, by the way. That way you
listen
can
to
get
me. Yeah, listen to me. Do it this way.
Listen.
Hitchmate on the mower first. Put the knuckle into the Hitchmate, put the pin in it. Take the main frame of the KartMate Pro and put the legs on it and the wheels, right? All that goes on. It just slides on. Do not use a hammer. Twist it, okay? Just back and forth, and it'll just slide right down. Do not use a hammer. Put the clips in. Now you have a rolling chassis. Take the chassis, put the heim joint in it. Do not thread it all the way in. It should thread all the way to you'll see 3/8 of an inch of threads showing. Take that, put it in the top of the knuckle between the UHMW paddles, and then what I do is I take a 2x4 and a hammer, and I just hammer the spine all the way down till it lines up, put the bolt through.
Yeah.
Not that hard. Put the tub on, bolt it down, you're done. It'll take you 20 minutes. What does it take, 20 minutes? 30 minutes?
I don't know. Sam made mine.
Okay. It's really, when you do it the way I just explained it to you, it's super, super, super easy.
I mean, when we did them at Equip, because this year we assembled everything at the show, that's about as long as it took. The only problem we had was getting the heim joint in, but that's because we didn't have a hammer and a 2x4 that we could use. Could they use a mallet?
Sure. The only thing you're going to damage is the powder.
Yeah.
You're never going to break the mower. I'm
just saying, because you're saying you don't use a hammer. If people needed to use something, more than likely use a mallet.
What I'm saying is
softer.
you could, I would personally take a 2x4 and a BFH.
Yeah.
If people don't know what a BFH is, it's a big fucking hammer.
He said that one day. He's like, you know what that is? I'm like, yeah, I'm not
stupid. A lot of people don't. So just put a 2x4 down and just beat the crap out of it because it is tight. It's designed to be tight. It's designed that way to be like a shock absorber.
Yeah.
So when you're going across the yard, I don't want that thing just bouncing all over the place. It's meant to squeeze it and keep it tight. And then over time, it chills out a little bit, and it falls after 2 months of use. It falls in this very nice sweet spot where it's it works perfectly, right? So
there's not as much wear and tear, and then it settles.
It's called breaking it in.
Yes.
So with that said, guys, that's it. That's the KartMate Pro. I can't believe we just talked an hour and 21 minutes about
it. Really
KartMate
didn't
Pro.
feel like it.
It didn't, because it's there's so much to it, but then it's so simple at the same time. We're just trying to explain to you the view and how to see it. With that said, I just want to make sure everybody understands I'm not against Toro. I like Toro. Toro's great company. Hopefully they buy me one day for hundreds of millions of dollars like they did with Vermeer and all of them. But with that said, I hope they have a lot of success with the Multiforce. I owned them. I liked them. But outside of that, guys, the KartMate Pro, you can find it at mulchmateusa.com along with the KartMate RS, the dual pod tripods, heated hand grips, TruckMate, Mulchmate. Am I missing anything? There's the whole lineup of Hitchmates. I feel like I'm missing something. There's a lot of products. Just go to Mulchmate USA. Find the stuff you love. If you have any questions, hit Kyle and I up at...
We have hats.
Hey. Yeah, we have hats. Yeah. Hit us up at Hey, fastlane@gmail.com. If you're looking to get in touch with me, I am Mr. Nick Carlson on Instagram, Nick Carlson on LinkedIn. Make sure you go check us out at, the Mulchmate Instagram, Dawson MFG Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. I hate saying TikTok. I'm not a fan of saying that. And there's actually there's a new social media platform I'm actually thinking about jumping on before everybody else. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. Do you know what it is? Have I told you?
Probably not.
See, I'm cutting it. I'm an old dude cutting edge.
Still can't figure out how to use a computer.
Or spell.
It's called dyslexia.
Yeah.
And I have it too.
Not wrong. Outside of that, guys, go to YouTube. Check out Mulchmate /Dawson MFG. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to start. I actually told at lunch today, I told Kyle he's going to be taking over all this, and I need him to juggle both for a little while until we get him full-time on it, because I think he's going to do really, really well in that position.
It's going to be a slow start, but we're going to get into it.
I want everybody to go to heyfastlane@gmail.com and tell Kyle he needs to take it over. How about that?
I like it.
Let's just do that.
And tell me what you want me to blow up with the laser.
Yes. He has this idea. He wants to blow things up with the laser and film it and put it on our YouTube channel and our socials.
And like shorts and reels and stuff
like that. The first thing I think of is I want to blow up a can of paint. So we can do. We're
gonna need a blast shield for that.
We could put in a it'll just go everywhere. I was watching American Chopper years ago, and they used to fill up like trash bags full of, I think, I don't know, is it argon, nitrogen? I don't know what it is. And you take a torch and you like hit it, and it just goes wha-boom. Or no, they put it in a pipe. They put it in a pipe. I gotta watch American Chopper again and figure out how.
I know hydrogen's explosive.
But most of them gases are. But
argon's not really that reactive. I don't think it's argon.
It's not argon. It's got to be nitrogen or oxygen. Maybe it's both. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Acetylene. He would use acetylene torch and just fill up a pipe with it, and he would just take the torch and light it, go, whoom, and it would just shoot shit out of the end of the pipe. It was great.
My little potato gun.
I loved American Chopper. The reason I am who I am today, honestly, a lot of it comes from American Chopper because I just loved how they created stuff. It was great. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, this is officially the longest podcast we've ever done.
Yeah, check out Carlson Coaching, and then we'll leave it there.
Actually, we've been working on Carlson Coaching to make it better.
Ooh.
So we were working on it this morning. I was doing a bunch of stuff to it, I was testing out text messages and emails and different, like, I'm going to add GIFs to text messages. So when you, like, try to get in touch with us, it'll send you a GIF of me doing something funny or whatever. But we're just trying to make it better and better every single day. So, guys, thanks for tuning in for another episode of Life in the Fast Lane. Kyle and I have a meeting to go to, and we will catch you guys later.
Oh, yeah. Don't miss me too much.
Peace out. Mulch mate.